have emotions too, Jay. So my thoughts are with him.
Allegedly, there are lawyers. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Sorry.
John,
sorry, standards.
What did you think when you saw this?
Well, there's two things I always said to my kids.
The CEO exposed on a kiss cam at a Coldplay concert, tangled up with his very own head of HR. What was supposed to be a night of music turned into a live trial under stadium lights. On the jumbo screen, Kristin Cabot leaned in, smiling like she owned the world, wrapping her arms around a man who was definitely not her husband, and the crowd erupted in shock. Because while she was glowing in that spotlight, her husband, rum tycoon Andrew Cabot, was thousands of miles away in Japan. And this wasn't some innocent little concert stunt. This was Coldplay's accidental public execution. The internet went insane within seconds. Memes, savage jokes, TikToks on repeat, the whole feed on fire. But Andrew, he didn't type a single word. No angry rant, no PR damage control, not even a cryptic post. He simply boarded a jet, flew home, and with cold, ruthless precision cut Kristin out of his world. His mansion, his company, his family legacy. Silent, surgical, final. It was the end. And now the gossip mill won't stop spinning. The richest woman in New England just got erased overnight by her own husband. But this wasn't any ordinary husband. Andrew isn't just the CEO of Privateer Rum, a generational empire born in Massachusetts. He's also the heir to one of Boston's most untouchable bloodlines. A dynasty once described as so high up, they only talk to God. Andrew and Kristin had the picture-perfect life, a $2.2 million mansion in Rye, New Hampshire, perfectly trimmed gardens, flawless family portraits, Instagram posts polished like holiday ads, until July 25th, when one kiss ripped it all to pieces in front of 60,000 screaming fans and millions more online. One viral post spat venom like never before. Kristin, married once, divorced once, remarried, and now this. A third of her life spent cheating. Her signature move, brutal. Because while Kristin swayed under Coldplay's lights, clinging to a man who wasn't hers, Andrew was in Japan, completely unaware that his marriage was crumbling in real time on a giant screen. The date is carved in scandal history now. July 16th, 2025. Coldplay's Music of the Spheres tour. The kiss cam zoomed in on Kristin, and who was beside her? None other than Andy Byron, CEO of Astronomer. And here's the twist. He was married too. They both froze like deer in headlights. The hug looked stiff, forced. Their smiles cracked under the weight of exposure. And then, Chris Martin himself, Coldplay's frontman, cut the tension with a cheeky joke that only twisted the knife deeper. The internet didn't just react, it exploded. But halfway across the globe, Andrew stayed quiet. No interviews, no statements, no hashtags, just a jet home, a locked jaw, and a silent strike. That silence wasn't weakness, it was dominance. By the very next night, Kristin's world was ashes. Her mansion access revoked, her email wiped out, her board seat at Privateer Rum deleted like it never existed. This wasn't a separation, it was a clean corporate execution.
And some cheeky notes from the crowd too. He's not my CEO, leaving no room for confusion.
A woman who once sat at the table of power was suddenly locked out of her own house, standing in the dark with nothing. Kristin, 52, once the razor-sharp HR director at Astronomer, built her empire hand in hand with Andrew. Together, they painted the perfect postcard life. A dream mansion in Rye, 2 flawless kids, holiday cards that looked straight out of a catalog, and endless garden photos with picture-perfect smiles. But in one savage instant, it all went up in flames on a giant screen for the entire world to see. One kiss, one hug, too close, too public, too damning. Overnight, Kristin wasn't the polished wife of a powerful CEO anymore. She was the lead character in a scandal broadcast across every phone screen on Earth. That clip didn't just trend, it detonated into digital chaos. Within 72 hours, over 90 million views stacked up like wildfire. TikTok reactions, YouTube breakdowns, Reddit threads analyzing every blink, every hairstyle, every subtle touch. Memes rained down, talk shows shredded her name without mercy, and the scandal snowballed like an avalanche she couldn't escape. Then came the fallout that no one saw coming. Kristin didn't just take a leave from Astronomer, she was pushed out, erased like she never existed. The website scrubbed her. The staff portal locked her out. Her LinkedIn deleted. Her Instagram gone. Her career evaporated almost as quickly as her marriage. And she didn't fall alone. Andy Byron, the very man she clung to in that kiss cam disaster, got axed too. No farewell toast, no goodbye speech, no thank you for your service. Just gone. His abrupt exit threw Astronomer into freefall, while co-founder Pete DeJoy scrambled to grab the wheel as interim CEO. Investors whispered about disaster recovery. Staff were marched into emergency HR training on boundaries, the ultimate slap in the face since Kristin was HR. Meanwhile, neighbors spotted her back in New Hampshire, alone, digging in her garden like nothing happened. No assistance, no luxury glow, no diamond ring. Just Kristin Cabot, bent over the soil, weeds in hand, and silence as her only shield. Some whispered her marriage had been dead long before Coldplay, that the concert only ripped the curtain down. Others claimed Andrew's icy strike was the final blow. Either way, her silence screamed louder than any scripted apology ever could. Kristin had ties to Privateer Rum for over a decade, but overnight, every trace of her existence there was scrubbed clean. Her profile deleted, her board seat removed, even cached archives vanished. This wasn't just a breakup, this was corporate annihilation. Insiders are calling it the cleanest wipeout of the decade. No messy leaks, no screaming tabloids, no staged tears. Just a cold, calculated takedown that made Hollywood scandals look like kid games. And behind it all, Andrew, Boston's most ruthless businessman, already lawyering up with the fiercest divorce sharks in the city. Not to fight, but to bury. What started as one awkward kiss cam clip morphed into a corporate horror story. This wasn't love lost. It was power dissected like numbers in a spreadsheet, all sparked by one kiss that never should have happened. You've seen the viral footage, but you didn't see what came after. The chaos inside boardrooms, the endless phone calls, the silence that cut deeper than screams. Trust me, it was far uglier than what played out on that jumbo screen. July 16th, 2025, Gillette Stadium, Coldplay's Music of the Spheres tour, fireworks in the sky, thousands chanting, when suddenly the kiss cam froze on Kristin and Andy Byron, HR director and CEO. A hug too intimate, too blatant, too wrong. Gasps echoed through the crowd, and Chris Martin himself cracked a joke that twisted the knife. Either they're having an affair or they're just very, very shy. The stadium laughed, but TikTok didn't. Within hours, the clip blew past 90 million views. Then TMZ dropped the second bomb. Another angle showing them slow dancing to Yellow, lips locked in the middle of the floor. That's when the internet went savage, tearing apart every smile, every glance, every second like a courtroom in session. At Astronomer's HQ, panic hit like a wrecking ball. Both Byron and Kristin shoved onto administrative leave, the board pulling emergency all-nighters, memos demanding full executive accountability. By sunrise, the empire was cracking. Pete DeJoy was shoved into the spotlight, trying to patch leaks while the company drowned in PR disasters. Within 3 days, Andy Byron was out for good. No cake, no send-off, no sappy goodbye post, just whispers about lawyers clawing at his golden parachute. And Kristin, she was crowned the scandal queen of the decade. Her downfall streamed live, replayed in slow motion by millions. Kristin didn't just walk away. She evaporated. Her advisory titles, gone. Her LinkedIn, nuked. Her Instagram, ghosted. It was as if her whole digital footprint had been erased in one night. And while she disappeared, the internet immortalized her downfall. Astronomer, once a billion-dollar tech darling, reduced to the punchline of late-night jokes, TikTok stitches, and savage memes. In a desperate Hail Mary, Astronomer tried to flip the narrative, pulling in Gwyneth Paltrow as a temporary spokesperson, a glossy stunt meant to steer the headlines back to data pipelines and automation. But nobody was buying it. The damage was already nuclear. This wasn't just a messy office affair anymore. It had spiraled into a cultural warning shot. A company once chasing Wall Street glory was now chained to internet infamy, all because two executives couldn't keep it together on a kiss cam. And while the internet laughed and dragged, Andrew, betrayed husband, CEO of Privateer Rum, and heir to Boston's ironclad dynasty, was still across the world in Japan. He hadn't even seen the infamous clip yet, but the world had, and everyone was waiting to see how he'd respond. But Andrew didn't play the circus. No tweets, no staged interviews, no spin doctors. While TikTok churned out edits, theories, and savage breakdowns, Andrew stayed calm, drinking sake with partners, touring distilleries, shaking hands with investors. But don't get it twisted. On the other side of the globe, his name was trending as the man publicly humiliated on a stadium jumbotron. By Saturday, the scandal crossed oceans. Andrew's jet touched down in Boston. No paparazzi flashes, no public meltdown, just a sleek black car, a stone face, and the kind of silence that screams retribution. And when he finally moved, it wasn't rage, it was precision. Kristin's world was dismantled overnight. Designer handbags boxed and shipped out. Access to bank accounts revoked. Her logins to Privateer Rum wiped from the system. Her name deleted from company files like it never existed. Staff whispered it was the cleanest purge they'd ever seen. Even the household was split. The gardener reassigned to Andrew's Beacon Hill bachelor pad. The chef suddenly cooking brunch for rum execs instead of family dinners. One driver leaked to reporters. She didn't even see it coming. She just vanished. And just like that, the life Kristin built unraveled in silence. Insiders later revealed Andrew had been suspicious for months. The cold silences, the distance, the way Kristin carried herself like her mind was somewhere else. But once that kiss cam lit up 65,000 people at Gillette Stadium and millions more online, suspicion became undeniable proof, public, permanent, irreversible. One insider summed it up best. It was the cleanest, coldest cut I've ever witnessed. No arguments, no screaming, just gone. Kristin, once the polished face of billion-dollar boardrooms, was reduced to a ghost, stripped of titles, erased from files, wiped from memory. And to think, it all began with one camera pan, a single sweep of the stadium lens that caught a kiss never meant to be seen. Andy Byron jolted back, Kristin's face drained pale, her hands twitching like she could undo what was already carved into internet history. But it was too late. 65,000 fans gasped. The jumbotron froze the moment forever. And then Chris Martin, Coldplay's frontman, twisted the knife with a line delivered at the worst possible second. Either they're having an affair or they're just really, really shy. The crowd roared with laughter, but TikTok exploded. Within hours, the clip shot past 50 million views. By day 2, it had conquered the internet. But TMZ wasn't done. They dropped a second bomb, a shaky video of Kristin and Andy slow dancing to Yellow, lips locked in the middle of the crowd. That's when the internet declared open season. Every angle replayed, every smirk dissected, every frame memed into oblivion. What looked like a kiss became a global courtroom. Back at Astronomer, panic took over instantly. Both Byron and Kristin slapped on administrative leave. The board locked in overnight meetings, emergency memos flying with words like full executive accountability. Interim CEO Pete DeJoy shoved into the spotlight as press releases poured like water. By sunrise, Andy Byron was history. No farewell toast, no goodbye speech, just whispers about lawyers tearing apart his golden parachute. And Kristin, she wasn't just disgraced, she was branded the scandal queen of the decade. Her career didn't end with a resignation. It was an erasure. Her advisory roles, deleted, LinkedIn, gone, Instagram, nuked. Even charity boards scrubbed her name without warning. Within days, Kristin went from red carpet regular to digital ghost. Meanwhile, Andrew didn't just react, he executed. Her mansion access revoked, her staff reassigned, her friends blocked, her entire life system reset in under 48 hours. This wasn't revenge. This was a ritual purge. One friend whispered, it was emotional evaporation. She just ceased to exist. Kristin retreated to her sister's home in Connecticut, stripped of glam, no entourage, no chauffeur, just hoodies and garden gloves. A billionaire's wife turned invisible in record time. Andrew, on the other hand, moved like nothing happened. A few rounds of golf, quiet smiles, calm business meetings, no rants, no grudges. Insiders even claimed he had been pulling strings for months, restructuring prenups, reshaping trust funds, prepping his empire for a clean split. The kiss cam wasn't the revelation. It was just the confirmation. And the fallout hit everywhere. 2 marriages demolished. 2 companies dragged through chaos. Meghan Carey, Andy Byron's wife, deleted family photos, dropped his last name, and ghosted the internet. Kristin's New Hampshire mansion, an empty shell, a $2.2 million monument to betrayal. Neighbors say Kristin keeps her head down, avoids eye contact, barely speaks. Her kids distant, her network gone, her empire dissolved. She wasn't just out of her marriage, she was out of society. Erased by her husband, erased by the companies, erased by the elite. From champagne galas to pulling weeds in silence, her crash was absolute. Because in Andrew's world, elegance isn't kindness, it's execution. 10 seconds on a stadium screen was all it took to end marriages, topple careers, and rewrite reputations forever. Kristin, gone. Andy Byron, disgraced. Megyn Carey, vanished. Andrew Cabot, triumphant. And the Coldplay kiss cam, still looping endlessly, carving its place in internet legend. And that's the kind of scandal you don't just watch once. It echoes for years. So if you're hooked on jaw-dropping breakdowns like this, smash that like button, hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs the tea, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you on the next one.